This is probably one of the most prolific designer of costumes for himself and for his period and for whatever else he did, and for the 5 decades that he worked in the musical industry. All of it came to its climax when Michael Jackson decided to go leather wardrobe, costume, etc., and really reshape his image, separate from the Jackson 5 image that he inherited from playing with the group, his dad, the influence of that time, the pop rock genre of Motown, etc. But once he went over to the dark side and chose darker leathers for a more mystifying look, it helped with Thriller, and it moved on to Bad, and what was supposed to be one of his biggest and last big road shows, where he plays himself, the genius, the artist, and incorporates everything from his past. This was the vision Michael Jackson had when he decided to do his story, HIS story, his story, the Michael Jackson world, a mythic adventure in time. So everything we did had to evolve around that period, that time, and we had to eclipse it with images from the past. Like, say, for instance, on this particular black leather jacket, those are 1937 V8 motor symbols. I just happened to come across them as I was working with Boyd Coddington, who designed the Prowler and some other cars, and Robert Peterson, the publishing magnate that had the Hot Rod magazine and the Hot Rod Museum on Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. They just happened to have a lot of little things I was looking for, and they let me borrow some of these. Actually, they gave it to me. And the original jacket had, on the epaulets, we had chain mesh epaulets from this British military museum and store. And down the sleeves, I also had the decals that you would commonly see on antique Mercedes and Rolls Royces and Bentleys. So we had those on the sleeves. He took all of that off, and he took the chain mesh off, kept with the standard straight look with the V8 symbols, and he posed with that. But the original imposing thing would have been all the accessories attached to that. And of course, from the loops here, we also had metal tassels, chain mesh metal tassels hanging. So he took all that off because he thought it was a bit much. I couldn't figure out how much was enough when you're the genius and the artist of your time and you've developed the craft on your own. But the best part about working with talent like Michael Jackson is that they not only see who you are, you can see where they are subconsciously and in their shadows. Even when he worked with Steve Stevens, he already knew who I was and who Steve Stevens was. But he knew in order to get the right characters for a certain part or a certain act, that particular person had to be what we called in the rock and roll hip hop community, down by law. Mike wanted to be part of that select group.